The stars were disappearing. Commander Elias Voss sat rigid in the captain's chair of the SS Icarus, staring at the sector's deep space map. His crew had been tracking the anomaly for weeks. One by one, entire star systems in Sector 12 were vanishing without a trace. No debris, no radiation signatures, just gone. As if something had reached out and snuffed them from existence. The distress call came 2 hours ago. A mining outpost on the edge of Sector 12 had sent an emergency transmission. Broken, filled with static. The last intelligible words before silence. It's watching. The stars aren't? Then nothing. Elias's grip tightened on the armrest. Across the bridge, his navigator, Lieutenant Ava Carter, scanned the void through the ship's long-range sensors. Her brow furrowed as she enhanced the latest readings. "I don't get it," she muttered. The outpost was there. Right here. She tapped a holographic display, but now it's just empty space. Elias exhaled slowly. "Any wreckage?" Ava shook her head. "Not even dust." His jaw clenched. Something was deeply wrong. Entire star systems didn't just vanish. Behind him, Dr. Ren Ito, the ship's astrophysicist, studied the data scrolling across his screen. "Sir," he said hesitantly, his voice edged with something between fear and disbelief. "Whatever is causing this, it's moving." Elias turned sharply. "Moving?" Ren swallowed. "Yes, the pattern suggests it's consuming the systems in a sequence, and it's heading straight for us." A thick silence fell over the bridge. Then the ship's proximity alarms screamed. The crew jolted as the viewports blacked out. Every star, every celestial body in the sector was gone. Not dimmed, not obscured. Gone. Ava's breath hitched. "Where are the stars?" Ren's fingers trembled over the console. Something is blocking them out." Elias pushed forward, eyes locked on the void beyond the glass. The emptiness was wrong, unnatural. Then, for the first time, they saw it. A shape, vast, beyond comprehension. A shifting, ink-black form stretching across the void. It didn't reflect light, it swallowed it. A ripple pulsed across its surface like a mirage in deep space. Ava gasped. "That's a ship?" "No." Ren's voice was barely a whisper. "It's a shadow." Then the comms crackled back to life. A voice, warped, distant, layered over itself in an unnatural chorus, spoke 2 words. "You see." The ship's lights flickered, the engines sputtered, and Sector 12 reached out to claim them. Elias's breath came shallow and quick. The SS Icarus was dead in the water, its systems flickering, its engines refusing to respond. The crew sat in stunned silence as the vast, shifting shadow beyond the viewport twisted like liquid ink, swallowing starlight in its wake. The voice on the comms repeated, "You see." Then static. Lieutenant Ava Carter's hands hovered over the controls, uselessly pressing switches that refused to respond. "We've lost navigation, propulsion, everything." Her voice barely masked the rising panic. Dr. Ren Ito's screen continued to glitch, the readings flickering between impossible numbers. "Sir, this thing, it's not just blocking light, it's consuming it, bending space around it like a collapsed star, but there's no gravity signature, no event horizon." Elias clenched his fists. "Then what the hell is it?" Ren swallowed. "I think it's alive." Silence. Ava let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "Alive? That thing is eating entire star systems. If it's alive, what the hell does it—" The comms cut through her words with a crackling whisper. "Hunger." Ava's face drained of color. Elias's mind raced. If this thing was feeding, then that meant it had patterns, needs, weaknesses. He turned to Ren. "What's our proximity to the last known star in this sector?" Ren checked his failing instruments. 3 million kilometers. "But sir, there's nothing left." Elias cut him off. "If it was feeding, then it wasn't always here." What happens when it moves? Ren paled. When it leaves, the space collapses behind it. Whatever it devours ceases to exist. Elias felt a chill crawl up his spine. Then we have to move before that happens. Ava slammed her fists against the console. And how do you propose we do that? We have no engines. Elias didn't answer. His eyes locked onto the massive void thing, the shape slithering like a living absence of matter. His gut told him something dangerous. It was watching them. Number It was waiting. A thought struck him like lightning. What if it's not just feeding? He turned to Ren. What if it's learning? Ren's face twisted in horror as the realization dawned. Oh God! Ava's hands shook. You're saying it left us alive on purpose? The ship's interior lights dimmed. Then, ever so slightly, the shadow moved closer. The comms crackled one last time. Hunger becomes understanding. Then, without warning, the stars blinked back into existence. Sector 12 was whole again. The shadow was gone, and the SS Icarus was floating in a sector that had never been touched. Ava gasped. What just happened? Elias didn't have an answer, but deep in his chest, he felt it. The thing hadn't disappeared. It had just learned what it wanted, and next time, it wouldn't need to feed at all. Elias stared into the void where the shadow had been, his heartbeat hammering in his ears. The stars had returned, but the silence that followed was somehow worse. Sector 12 had never been touched. No signs of missing systems, no broken transmission signals. It was as if the anomaly had never happened. But they all knew the truth. Ren sat hunched over his console, running frantic scans. I don't understand. There's no record of the missing stars. The data is rewritten, like they were never gone. He looked up, his face pale. It changed reality. Ava let out a shaky breath, her hands still gripping the controls. This isn't right. We should be dead. It let us go. Elias wasn't so sure. His instincts screamed that it wasn't over. The thing had learned. But learned what? The comms crackled to life. Not static, not the shadow's voice. A distress call. Elias's blood ran cold. A mining outpost on the edge of Sector 12 was broadcasting a loop transmission. You see, Ava turned toward him, eyes wide. That's our transmission. Elias felt the weight of a terrible realization settle over him. The message wasn't a warning. It was an invitation. The ship's lights flickered. Ren whispered, "We never escaped." Elias's breath caught in his throat. Through the viewport, the stars began vanishing again. And this time, there was no way out.